Yo. Right. So we're going to try to unpack this one slow. We're going to get into this Grandmaster Jay Conviction. What does it mean? How did it happen? Why is it significant? Let me see something. There we go. Let me just wait for a minute. We'll play with some of these options though. Alright, so if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, all that good stuff. It's been, I ain't really been doing too many Facebook lives, but I wanted to address this issue on Grandmaster Jay. Him being convicted and facing up to 30 years in prison, federal. And the reason why I want to do this is because we got to look at like what's really happening right now. And like, let's think about how Grandmaster Jay and NFAC came into play, which was during the 2020 uprising in the summer when George Floyd, the George Floyd protest was going on. And July 4th, thousands of black men and women armed went to Stone Mountain as a response to the KKK. So think about this. The KKK was threatening to kill black people on the 4th of July. NFAC, which is a group made up of several different black gun clubs, ex-military, different New Black Panther formation. So NFAC, like I said, responded by going to Stone Mountain, which is the stronghold for the KKK, and basically saying, hey, if you're going to start killing us at 8 o'clock, we're going to start killing y'all at 8:05. So after that, unfortunately, what happened is a lot of our own people started going against Grandmaster Jay and NFAC, saying that they're agents, saying that they're too much rah-rah, saying they ain't about that life, just basically undermining who they were and what they were doing. Now, let's look at what happened in Buffalo the other day when the white supremacist dude launched an attack on innocent elders and mostly women. Now, kind of like Dylan Roof, when he did his attack in his manifesto, he said he did it because black men are raping white women, doing crime, causing ruckus, being violent, blah, 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 the white race is going extinct, blah, 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 blah. But notice how they, when they do these attacks, they don't go to where these black men that they say are causing all this ruckus and being violent. They go to where we're vulnerable. They go to where it's women and children unsuspectingly. Dylan Roof went to a church and attacked while people were praying at their most vulnerable state. This dude went to an unsuspected grocery store, shot mostly women and elders. And notice this. You haven't seen any backlash. You haven't seen you haven't seen too many white people, especially those who might call themselves white nationalists. Because I know a lot of people that watch this, a lot of people who are tuned in who know who Grandmaster Jay is, they would consider themselves revolutionary or black nationalists. But at the same time, they condemned Grandmaster Jay for organizing in order to protect us from things like what happened in Buffalo. Yet, the same people who would agree or who would be also white nationalists, like the dude who did the killing, they're not condemning him, they're supporting him. The media is supporting him. The police didn't kill him. So, by contrast, we have one hand, people on code, who will support even gruesome murder, massacre, and then on the other hand, you could actually have our own people who claim to be revolutionary, who claim to be about black power, who claim to be about black pride, who will attack and condemn someone who mounted up a force to protect us from things like what happened in Buffalo. And understand, when they go against a Grandmaster Jay, and this is something I told you years ago when they were going after Farrakhan, it don't matter if you don't agree with Grandmaster Jay. The attack is not just against Grandmaster Jay. The attack is against all of us. Regardless if you call yourself revolutionary, activist, black pride, it doesn't even matter. The attack by default, by proxy, is against all of us. Because if they get those who are willing to put it on the line and stand up on our behalf against violent racial attacks, everyone else is food. Because when they do these violent attacks, they don't go to where the new Black Panther Party or these gun clubs or these G's on the streets and these thugs, they don't go to those type of spots when they do these attacks. They go to where the vulnerable are. Those who most need protection. They go there. So when our own people are neutralizing organizations and individuals who are willing to take that stand, what you're doing is you're weakening the only defense mechanism that we have. Because the police ain't protecting us. The police pulled that dude out. They didn't even kill him. They probably took him to Burger King like they did Dylan Roof. So we have individuals, and I'm going to name a couple names, like Taharka Bey. Taharka Bey claims to be a Moor. Now, I didn't already pull his card. He is a sex offender who runs with convicted rapists of children. And this is a fact. You can check my YouTube. This is all receipts. This dude has made a living off of victimizing women and children. But he will tell you Grandmaster Jay is no good. He went on a campaign right after that July 4th march on Stone Mountain against the KKK. This dude went on a months-long campaign undermining. So when we have that type of thing going on, that makes people like Grandmaster Jay more vulnerable. Because if the opposition sees that we're not even united in supporting someone who would go out of their way and put it on the line to protect our people, if we can't even be on code for that, it makes them more vulnerable, which makes everyone else food. Because on the other side of that coin, you don't see people condemning the dude who killed those people in Buffalo. You don't see people saying, you don't see white people saying, oh, he's an agent, we can't trust him, he's this. You don't see that kind of thing. They're actually raising money for this dude. 4 days after that massacre in Buffalo, because the manifesto also had some anti-Semitic sentiments in it, they passed a law to protect Jewish people. 10 of our people murdered by a race soldier in an anti-black violent act, and they went out of their way to protect Jewish people. How can they do these kind of things? Because they know there's not too much pushback. There's not going to be too much resistance, because they see on social media when we attack each other. They see on social media when someone who they also do not like, and then there's so many of our people for some reason who have a problem with someone who's trying to protect the community. So basically, it's like some of us are on the same side, like these Taharka Bays and these other cats that have been going against all the new Black Panther Party formations, all the gun clubs, all of those who are willing to put it on the line. The same people who don't like that, that's the same side some of you guys are on when you talk all that shit about those who are willing to put on the line. You're basically by default taking the side of white supremacy. You're basically by the default giving an alley-oop to those who would massacre us. Same, and we got to tie the Kyle Rittenhouse into this as well. What's the Kyle Rittenhouse effect? See, Kyle Rittenhouse, when he did what he did, even though he killed white people, understand, see, they're so on code. They're so on code. I mean, from a government level, from a social media level, from an individual level, from a group level, they're so on code that the mere notion that white people would march against the police for killing a black teenager or young man, they felt like, yo, anyone who would stick up for us against the police are also expendable. So by proxy, that when he killed those white people out there, that was by proxy him killing us, because they were on our side in that protest. It doesn't matter what your feelings are. Oh, white people don't need to be marching with us. No, that don't matter. Understand, play chess, not checkers. Look at it from the macro, not the micro. So when Kyle Rittenhouse gets away with something like that, it prompts others to understand, well, now if we attack people at a Black Lives Matter protest, we got the green light to do so. Because if you can get away with killing white people at a Black Lives Matter protest because they're protesting on our behalf, what do you think's going to happen if one of these race soldiers start killing black people at these protests? So basically what you're seeing is copycat situations because they get incentivized to act out in this way because they get support. It's not really lone wolf. It's really a connected, calibrated, coordinated situation going on. Because they're getting incentivized because they're not getting punished to the level that they should be. They're getting supported afterwards. So yes, when they lock up this Grandmaster Jay and everyone was calling him an agent and they don't trust him and this and that, look, it doesn't even matter if you agree. It doesn't even matter if you think that that is the right way to go about things. That's not the point. See, the point is he inspired others. See, what would have happened if he would have got full support after that march on Stone Mountain? What would have happened if instead of the resistance from our own people, if every, you know what I'm saying, he could have inspired millions, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, possibly millions. What's up, Joe? Joseph Boyd in the building. Jobs, what's up, man? What would have happened if instead of people coming against him, people of influence, because I fuck with Tariq Nasheed. I fucks with him. But I don't fuck with his stand on NFAC and Grandmaster Jay. There are some things that I 100% disagree with, despite the fact that I do respect what he's doing on other things. So what would happen if people of high influence were backing Grandmaster Jay and NFAC? What would have happened is you would have seen an influx of thousands of people who, even if they didn't join NFAC, they may have organized in their own communities. They may have networked and reached out to others in the community that are willing to take that same stance. And then possibly there could have been some type of, okay, so if that would have happened, you would have seen in every major city or anywhere where we're in abundance, black men and women who are willing to take that stand. And there's no way someone would want to go and encroach in a community that they know there are individuals armed that are about that life and willing to protect the life of our people. They attack where they see weakness. And if they see we're not even united in the idea of protecting ourselves as a community, then they're going to be motivated or feel a lot more comfortable making those type of moves against us. Because like I said, they didn't go to south side of Chicago where they're saying all this violence is happening and all these black people are out of, they didn't go there. They didn't go to South Central LA. They didn't go to the hood in Cleveland. They went somewhere where they knew it was going to be safe, where they knew there wouldn't be any resistance. Because that's how they operate. So when we go against the grain and can't even stay on code because we don't agree with some little stupid ass bullshit, some insignificant, minuscule disagreement or, conflict in ideology or whatever, or mythology, then we're basically setting ourselves up for these kind of things to happen. Because we're letting people know that we can't even be on code about protecting ourselves. So we're relying on the police. Like I said, if there was more support and less resistance, I know for a fact that you would have seen more and more people, rather than joining the NFAC or different formation of New Black Panther Party, they would have been creating their own organizations, they would have been joining organizations, or they may have just been, feeling like, hey, inspired enough to where, hey, let's get our gun training on. Hey, let's make sure that there's always some type of presence wherever our elders or children are at so that no one can infringe or encroach upon us. Because we have to understand that, yes, like these things are going to continue to happen. They're going to ramp up. They're going to ramp up because these kids, look at what the news, look what the media says when these things happen. They don't even condemn them. They don't call them a monster. They don't do any of that. They blast their name out so they get famous. And then when they get famous, people who share those same sentiments will monetarily support them. So if you're some white trash loser with nothing to lose anyway, and you can do an act like that, and then you might get cashed out a few $100,000, and you can have, you know what I'm saying, at least you'll be able to live through prison, and the rest of for your family, you might take, you know what I'm saying? So these things are being incentivized, and this is purposely being done. So when Grandmaster Jay or any other person that has influence or, you know, a little bit of popularity or organizational skills, when they get attacked, it's not just an attack on him. By default, by proxy, it's attack on all of us. So Job said, facts. Now motherfuckers want to say, damn, what happened to them when they ignored the trial? That's a fact. Now people, you know, say they want to say, oh yes, but before that, they were saying he's an agent, or he's a fake DJ, all this dumb shit that they wanted to use to disqualify him from what he was trying to do. Now listen, I don't know this dude. I do know some people who did go to the Stone Mountain March. I do know the aesthetics of 1,000 black men and women armed, willing to protect. You see, the difference between that and what these white race soldiers do is that they're doing it on the offensive, unjustified. They're going to kill innocent people. The flip side of the coin is, in fact, wasn't going to kill innocent people. They're going to protect and show a presence of those who would resist such an act. So the audacity of those who would undermine that and then be surprised when Buffalo happens. Then be surprised when innocent people are murdered in churches. This is a result of not being on code. This is a result of not understanding what times we're in right now. So yeah, the Grandmaster Jay attack is an attack on all of us. And those who go against the grain and who would, you know, like I said, Taharka Bay, who I know will see this, whether it's on YouTube or it's on Facebook. Yes, it's Negroes like him who has a record, a track record, a 30-year record of victimizing women and children. We got the receipts. Victimizing women and children on the sex offense registry, which means he is convicted of some type of sexual assault at some point, who pals around with, what's the dude's name? Adrian. This dude named Adrian Joyce or something, convicted of gang raping a 15-year-old. See, his ALIKes are rapists, literally, but he acts like he is the moral authority, that he condemned Grandmaster Jay for months, Malik Zulu Shabazz for months, any black organization, but he never has any smoke for police. Yeah, this thing, I'm gonna have to end this pretty soon. Never has any smoke for those who come against us. Never have any smoke for even those who massacre us. He focuses all of his energy on undermining anything that's productive for our people, that could be beneficial to our people, but he has no solutions. So he'll go against people like AJ, a comrade of mine, who literally has an organization with hundreds of chapters for search and rescue. And some of the rescues he does is for DV victims and sexual crime victims. Literally put his life on the line. Literally took his military training to aid people. And while he's doing these kind of things, while Malik Zulu Shabazz was running with Khalid Muhammad and serving our community for the past 3 decades, people like Taharka Bay were beating up children and women and sexually assaulting or whatever, put them on the sex offense registry, because you don't get on the sex offense registry unless you're convicted of a sexual crime. Not accused, not charged, not alleged. To get on that list, you have to be convicted. So the audacity of some of these clowns out here that can undermine those who have been putting their life on the line for decades when they haven't contributed a goddamn thing. See, it's different when people who are in the movement, who are actually active, have some type of criticism. That's respectable. I can respect that. But an outsider whose only receipts and street cred is doing damage against the community has no fucking right saying shit. And this should not be allowed because it's dangerous. And I hope y'all understand how dangerous that shit is now. I hope you understand how dangerous it is to talk down on people who are actually doing good in the community, whether you agree with them or not. It's dangerous. And you're going to see more, unfortunately, we'll see more Buffalo, New York type of situations. And with the Grandmaster Jay out the way, and others who have been locked up since out the way, it only makes the community more and more vulnerable. The support that we should have been giving Grandmaster Jay, we haven't been. And the result of that, what you're gonna see is we are more vulnerable, particularly women and children. That's just facts. Think about that. Peace.